Hello students, welcome back to my channel. In the previous class, we have discussed a few MCQs related to the chapter Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. Now we are continuing with the questions. Now look at the 38th question. What are the parts A and B in this figure? See, actually the diagram they have given, it is a typical structure of pollen grain and it is a two-celled pollen grain comprising of two cells. The larger cell is known as vegetative cell and the smaller cell is known as generative cell. So here you know that A, it is labeled as the larger cell, that is vegetative cell, and B is the smaller generative cell. Look at the options. So here option C is the correct answer because A is the larger one known as vegetative cell and B is the smaller one called as a generative cell. And next question, sporopollenin is. Sporopollenin, you know that it is usually present in the exine layer and it is the most resistant organic matter and that is usually absent in the region of germ pore. So here option A, it is the most resistant organic matter, it is correct. And option B, it is present in the exine of pollen grain, this is also right. And it is usually absent at the region of germ pore of the pollen grain. So here all are correct regarding the sporopollenin. And next question, pollen grains can be preserved as fossils because you know that the pollen grains can be well preserved as fossils because of certain characteristics. We'll see which of the following feature will be applicable to preserve the pollens as fossils. Option A, they vary from species to species. They have variety of architecture. They are made up of sporopollenin. They exhibit a fascinating array of pattern and design. Actually, the pollen grains can be preserved as fossils only because of the highly resistant organic material known as sporopollenin. So, because of the sporopollenin only, the pollen grains can be well preserved as fossils. And the next question, which part of the pollen exhibit a fascinating array of a pattern and design? It is intine, exine, germ pore, and none of these. Actually, when we look at the structure of pollen grain, the intine, the inner layer intine, it is usually smooth layer, but the exine can be appearing with different patterns and designs. So the exine layer only shows the different patterns of design and even the patterns, so that the correct answer will be the exine. And next question. So intine of pollen grain is, it is the inner layer of pollen grain. Yes. A thin and continuous layer. Yes, correct. And it is made up of cellulose and pectin. So all these are relevant to the intine layer. So here correct answer all of these because it is the inner layer. It is a smooth, thin and continuous layer usually made up of cellulose and pectin. And next we have few questions related to the diagram. These are figure based questions from 43 to 47. So from 43 to 47 all the questions are relevant to this diagram. You know that. So this is the typical monocot embryo. It is a typical monocot embryo and in this monocot embryo you can see a single cotyledon called as a scutellum, and here we can find coleorhiza, coleoptile, the shoot apex, root tip, radicle, everything we can observe here. So here question number 43. Question 43, it is what does A indicates in this figure? So here A indicates the scutellum. It is the scutellum. And next question, what C is showing in this given figure? So here the C indicates the shoot apex. The shoot apex is represented as C in this diagram. So the C indicates a shoot apex. Next question, identify the part D. So this D, it is the epiblast. We will call as a remnant or rudimentary part of the second cotyledon is called as a epiblast. So here the part D has been labeled as the epiblast. So epiblast. And next question, what is G in the given figure? So here you can observe what is this G. It is actually the coleorhiza. It is the coleorhiza. a cap-like structure or where the radical is covered by a sheath called as coleorhiza. So this is the G which indicates the coleorhiza. And next question, what is B in the given figure? So here B. So this is called as a B. So what is this B represent? It is actually the coleoptile. The stem tip is covered by a leaf primordia called as a coleoptile. So B in the given diagram called as coleoptile. And next, question number 48. Pollen grains are mature when? Option A, it contains vegetative and generative cell. It contains only single haploid cell, contains two haploid cell. And option D, both A and C. Pollen grains are mature when? It contains, when the pollen grain is matured, at that time it contains both vegetative cell as well as generative cell and contains two haploid cell. The two haploid cells are nothing but the male gametes. So here the matured pollen grains contains vegetative cell, generative cell, and the two male gametes are haploid cells. So both A and C is correct. And next question. The thin and continuous layer of pollen made up of cellulose and pectin is the intine layer, because intine is the thin and continuous layer which is usually made up of cellulose and pectin. So that the answer is intine. And next question, pollen grains are shed in two cell stage in. The pollen grains will be shedded in two cell stage, which mean they usually contain two cells. One is a vegetative cell and generative cell, and these pollen grains will shed at two cell stage in more than 60% of the angiospermic plant. In remaining 40% of the angiosperms, the pollen grains may shed at 3 cell stage, but they usually shed at 2 cell stage in more than 60% of the angiosperms. Next, generative cell floats in the cytoplasm of. The generative cell floats in the cytoplasm of vegetative cell, because when we look at the structure of pollen grain, so this one will be the vegetative cell. In this larger vegetative cell, there will be small generative cell which will be usually floating in the cytoplasm of vegetative cell. So correct answer, vegetative cell. Next, the below figure represents. So here you can observe the anther as well as stigma, so that these are called as a self-pollinated flowers. As they contain both anther and stigma, they can undergo self-pollination. That's why the given diagram or figure shows self-pollinated flowers. Either we can observe autogamy or geitonogamy in these flowers. That's why it is a self-pollination. And next question. The bigger cell that receives abundant food and has irregularly shaped nucleus is called as vegetative cell. When we say the bigger cell, the larger cell is usually called as vegetative cell, and which contains abundant food material, and the nucleus is usually irregularly shaped, and that cell is called as vegetative cell. And next one, the spindle-shaped cell with a dense cytoplasm and nucleus in pollen grain is called as, it is the generative cell, because so in the structure of pollen grain, the generative cell, it looks like a spindle-shaped cell. Spindle-shaped cell with dense cytoplasm and nucleus. So that cell is called as a generative cell. And next question, match the following. So here vegetative cell, you know that vegetative cell, it is the large size and has abundant food reserve. Generative cell, it is usually the spindle shaped cell. Exine, which is usually made up of sporopollenin, and intine, it is made up of cellulose and pectin. So that the correct answer will be option C, because A, that is vegetative cell, it is usually the large size and has abundant food reserve, and B, generative cell, it is the spindle shaped cell, and exine made up of sporopollenin, intine is made up of cellulose and pectin. Next question, male gametes in angiosperms are formed by. So male gametes, you know that male gametophyte is the pollen grain. This is the pollen grain. comprising of larger vegetative cell and smaller generative cell. So this one having vegetative nucleus and this one having generative nucleus. So these male gametes in angiosperms are formed by mitotic division in generative cell, because this generative cell undergo mitotic division and this generative nuclei divides to form two nuclei, and these two are the male gametes. So the generative cell undergo mitotic division to form two cells which are called as male gametes. They are called as male gametes. So next question, the pollen grains are shed in 3-cell stage in less than 40% of the angiospermic plant, because already I told you more than 60% of the angiospermic plants will shed at a 2-cell stage. So remaining 40% of the angiospermic plants will be shed at a 3-cell stage. And next question, which of the following statement is correct? See, option A, pollen grains are shed in 2-cell stage in more than 40% of the plants. It is wrong. Actually, it is more than 60%. Pollen grains are shed in 3-cell stage in less than 60% of the plant. So this is also wrong. It is less than 40% of the plants. And option C, generative cell divides meiotically to form male gametes. So this is also wrong. Actually, the generative cell undergo mitotic division to form male gametes. So this option is also wrong. And next option, intine of pollen is made up of sporopollenin. Even this is also wrong, because exine is made up of sporopollenin, whereas the intine is made up of cellulose and pectin. So when we look at the options, all are wrong. Next, the plant which came in India as a contaminant with imported wheat is the Parthenium. Parthenium, it is one of the weed which came to India as a contaminant with the imported wheat, and nowadays it has been occupied all over the world, Parthenium. So option B. Next, the below figure represents, actually the below flower, it is the sunflower, and it is actually the cross-pollinated flowers. In sunflower we can observe cross-pollination, that's why the given figure shows cross-pollinated flowers. And next question, which of the following is incorrect? Option A, Parthenium or carrot grass. Parthenium or carrot grass causes pollen allergy. Yes, of course, the pollen grains of Parthenium usually causes pollen allergy. And option B, vegetative cell of pollen as abundant food reserve. This is correct. And option C, all pollens cause severe allergies and bronchial afflictions. So this is wrong. Actually, all pollens cannot cause allergies or bronchial afflictions. Only certain species pollens only causes allergies and bronchial afflictions. And option D, sporopollenin is the most resistant organic matter now. So this is correct. So according to the question, which one of the following is incorrect? Option C is incorrect. So next question, what are A and B in the figure? Actually, we can observe it is actually a bisexual flower, or which contains two different types of flowers. Here we can find two different types of flowers. Here option A, you can look at the flower, it is actually a opened flower. So opened flowers are usually called as chasmogamous flowers. And when we look at the B, it is a closed flower, and closed flowers are called as cleistogamous flowers. So option A is correct, because A is chasmogamous flower. Chasmogamous flowers are the opened flowers, and cleistogamous flowers are closed flowers. Next, pollen grains. Pollen grains represent gametophytic phase of plant. Yes. And they can cause severe allergies like asthma and bronchitis. Correct. Are rich in nutrient. Of course, correct. And are used as a food supplement, and are available in the form of tablets and syrups in market of Western countries. All these are correct regarding the pollen grains, because the pollen grains are the male gametophytic generation of the plant. They can cause severe allergies, and they are rich in nutrients. As they are rich in nutrients only, they are used as a food supplement, and these pollen grains will be available in the form of tablets and syrups in Western countries. So all are correct. Next question, Viability of pollen grains dependent upon the viability, which means the pollen grains will be they have the ability to work. Viability is nothing but they have the work, they have the ability to work. So they have certain period of viability. In that period only the pollen grains can able to generate. So what is the time of viability means? That viability of pollen grains usually dependent upon a particular species, prevailing temperature, humidity, and all of this. Of course, all these factors will be depending upon the they will help in viability, because the viability mainly dependent upon the particular species also, they dependent upon the temperature, and even they are dependent upon the humidity, that is the water content. So here all of these are correct. And next question, rice pollen grains are viable for. The viability period of rice is about only 30 minutes approximately. In most of the cereals and grasses, the viability period is only just 30 minutes. And next question, pollens are stored in. We already know that the pollen grains can be well preserved in liquid nitrogen at minus 196 degrees Celsius. So these pollen grains can be preserved as fossils. So where we can store the pollen grains means at minus 196 degree in liquid nitrogen. Next question, syncarpous condition is referred to as. You know that syncarpous, syn refers to fusion and carpus refers to carpels. If there are more than one pistil or one carpel fused together, it is called as a syncarpous condition. So syncarpous condition is referred to as more than one pistil which is fused together. We can call it as a pistil or carpel, they are fused together. So this is called as a syncarpous condition. So these are few questions which we can discuss today. Remaining questions we can discuss later.